Hey everybody, this is Travis with Touching Unicorns Podcasts, and every week I like to get a group of friends together and ask one question. What the fuck do we know? This week I'm joined with Chris.
Hello.
And Tracy.
Hey.
We have kind of a skeleton crew, but we're going to be talking about some really cool, crazy shit. We're going to talk about technology and human beings and how we're fucking robots and humans together, and we're going to make a human robot one day. Yeah, pretty much. But first of all, in unrelated news, I want to talk about Grand Theft Auto 5 breaking $1 billion in 3 days. What do you guys think about that?
Awesome. I bought the game the day it came out, and it's just incredible. I can totally see why it broke $1 billion. It was the largest game budget ever used for a video game in history, which was $265 million to make this game. And I believe, don't quote me on this, but I think the only game that spent, that much money was Star Wars: The Old Republic at $250 million, $250 million.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, you got it right.
Yeah, I got it. I'd beg my wife, but
how many zeros is that in a billion? I was just trying to do the math, and nine zeros divided by 60. How many games is that?
How many zeros are playing that game right
now? A lot, but not me because I didn't buy it.
You need to go buy it right now. We'll talk while you're gone.
That's it.
So, the 24 hours, they made $800 million. So your $60 went into that.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I pre-ordered. They made profit on the game before it was even released.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Yeah.
The pre-orders, right?
Just
pre-orders.
So, they've been comparing this game's success to movies. And how it beat the record for the Avengers made $1 billion, but it took it 14 weeks or something like that to beat $1 billion. But my question to you guys is, can you really compare a video game to a movie? You go to a movie, it's about $10. You go to you play a video game, it's $60. I mean, can you really count those as the same thing?
A video game is more of a commitment, I guess, because I buy a movie. I mean, I've watched my great movies like, I've watched Fight Club probably 30 times, and that's about 60 hours. I played GTA 5 almost 60 hours in the past week.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more of a commitment, and I can definitely foresee myself putting hundreds of more hours into it.
Yeah, but I'm talking more about the dollar amount. I mean, with the idea of, like, they're comparing the gross amount of money that a movie makes to a gross amount of money that a video game makes, where the dollar amount is more for a video game.
You can't really compare it, I don't think. It's like apples and oranges. It's like, well, this banana is good, so how about that orange?
Yeah, you need a lot more people to make I think that's why movies are still more successful in that sense. Less people needed to buy Grand Theft Auto to make it $1 billion.
Right, and what's a movie ticket these days? Like $12?
Yeah, $12. IMAX, 12.
Yeah, there you go. So I don't think it's really comparable.
No, I don't either. But good game, though.
Oh, so when you said the dollar amount it made, is that total profit it made, or just total sales it generated?
That's total sales.
That's total sales. Because I mean, like even so, like what you said, you can't compare the two because the cost is it has to be so different. Because you look at movies, you're destroying things. You're talking about people building sets you have to build. And you're just talking about the guys in a computer lab making a video game, basically.
Well, they still spent $250 million on this. Avengers was a $300 million movie. I mean, the amount of money they spend on these things are pretty equal.
In my mind, I try to figure out how, like,
they have to
cost that much. I'm ignorant. I put the game in the console and press the power button. I'm like, that's magic. How do they do it? But I feel like it all happened on computers, and I don't understand like how the dollar amount for games jumps to
they got Starbucks level. Every day.
Yeah. Well, they had hundreds of voice actors. They had almost 1,000, I think. Almost 1,000 voice actors with, I can't remember the exact number, but there's a few 100,000 or even million lines of dialogue in that game.
There are people that you won't even meet in that game that have whole stories going on. You walk up next to people and you hear them talk. Like, I was next to this woman talking about making this movie. She was just on her phone talking about making this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never heard that woman, but somebody recorded that dialogue and paid that woman money to do that.
And you got to think they have motion capture technology.
That's true.
Mocap time is very expensive. And then the animation, all the level, like world design and stuff. Those guys get paid pretty well.
That's what they do. They do. I'm jealous.
I think there was like 8 world design programmers. So just those 8 guys, just for the world design, they probably put in 60 hours a week for a good 5 years.
Yeah. Oh, the water looks great in that movie too.
Oh yeah.
Or in that game.
In that movie.
That movie game.
That movie game.
It is very cinematic.
Yeah. All of them. I mean, ever since 3, they've all been cinematic. But
Yeah,
I remember the first time I saw Grand Theft Auto 3 cinematic, I nearly peed my pants because I'd never seen someone's face have an expression in a video game. I'd never seen their lips move when they talk. That was kind of a revolutionary thing at the time.
Right. You gotta think how we 40 years ago went from a little white dot on a black screen to shooting hookers in the face.
Oh yeah, I love
so just look how far Grand Theft Auto comes since the first one, where it's a top down and you're like splattering a splatter on the screen basically. I mean, I remember playing there and it was great because you were killing hookers, I guess, as it were. But then now like you're beating the shit out of a hooker with a baseball bat, and like she looked like she was a real hooker. Like she was doing hooker things right before you killed her. It's things have changed in video games overall. It's a long way.
That's good things. So moving on to some more unrelated news. So apparently, Easter Island. We all know what Easter Island's famous for.
The heads.
The heads. Head. A whole island famous for head. No, the Moa statues. Apparently, these fucking things have bodies.
With writing on them.
With writing on them.
And they're big bodies. I mean, they match the heads. I mean, it's way in the ground.
What kind of writing? Is it like inner city graffiti?
They didn't say. They just said there's writing on them. So maybe they're going to find the reason they built these things. But more maybe why they buried them, I guess. I mean,
they came to life and they didn't want them to
just dug themselves into
the world.
Yeah,
like Night at the Museum or whatever.
Oh God, I've been still right.
Yeah, I think there's a Moa in that, right?
I've never seen it.
Well,
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, it sounds right.
That's racist.
Yeah. For Moas, yeah. Now these things are weird looking. If you ever watched that that really fucking terrible show on History Channel, Ancient Aliens, they talk about the Moas a lot as being like aliens that came to Earth to help us build statues to themselves. So, why would you build a fucking statue? Cut all the trees. They cut all the trees down on this goddamn island just to build these statues, to bury half of it. No, more than half of it. 3/4 of it.
Can you imagine the effort to bury it though? I mean, But
did they have? Did they just dig with rocks?
I don't even know. That's like the science is. I mean, they don't know if they buried them or if over time they slowly sank into the earth, or maybe some sort of catastrophic event on the island caused like landslides, maybe. But
maybe the aliens loaded them in their spaceships and just shot them at the ground.
Oh, like a nail gun.
Yeah. Like a giant alien nail gun that shoots.
That's logical. I'm down with that. I mean,
that's probably what happened.
Yeah,
I'm going to say that's probably what happened. All right, let's move on from that silliness. So, today's topic, we're going to talk about humans and how technology is not only integrated into our lives, but is integrating into our bodies with things like cybernetics and things like that. Chris, you had a story about a guy who had a cybernetic eye that was kind of interesting.
Oh yeah, it was the first. They believe it was the first ever documented case of cyber racism. This guy from Canada, he was in a McDonald's in France, and he has a cybernetic eye. It's completely prosthetic, and it looks kind of weird on his face. You know, it's cybernetic. No one really knows about that kind of stuff. And the manager of the McDonald's demanded that he remove it, but he couldn't remove it. It's like drilled into his skull. So the manager grabs the prosthetic and breaks it. And this was like like a one-of-a-kind thing. But what's the cool thing about that is the guy was eventually kicked out of the restaurant because the other employees like ganged up and took the manager's side. But the cool thing about it is the guy's prosthetic eye had captured the manager doing this to him and saved it to the internal hard drive, so they had photographic evidence. Because it takes a picture right before it was broken.
Did you mention the lawsuit on that shit? Like, I don't know how much the cost of a cybernetic eye is, but this guy's working at McDonald's. He's never going to be able to pay for that shit ever.
No, he's a manager, though.
It's got to be $1 million.
Right?
He clears $25K a year.
Well, it's... How many
there you go.
So how many years of his life is going to go into that cybernetic eyeball?
I can't remember the exact
300.
Yeah, I'll have to link the article when this show goes live, but the whole article explained exactly what happened.
Do you think it's more the fact that they were just French is why they didn't?
Oh, it could be possible. But,
oh, what are you doing with that eye, chocolate blue?
But you got to think though,
Is
some people would not, they would not react well to that kind of like they'd see that as unnatural.
I'll say this: when people have prosthetics, not even like robotic prosthetics, because I've never seen that, I feel a little weird when I see like a fake leg or something like that, or the I don't want to say nub, but the thing that was an arm.
Yeah,
it
I get
makes
what
me
you're saying,
uncomfortable. You think it's more like that kind of uncanny valley type thing where.
I think so. I think it'd be more weird if the person had like a prosthetic that like had it on rather than just a severed limb.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be weirder to me that way. I mean, it doesn't really weird me out at all because cybernetics have always kind of interested me. But.
So you think the future is going to be fully functional robotic limbs?
Yes. I mean, there's already like neuroscience and I can't remember what they call it, cyber biology or something like that, where they're developing prosthetics that connect to the brain in a way that you can actually feel heat and cold and have the dexterity of a normal hand, but with a prosthetic.
So this eye, I'm still stuck with this guy grabbing the dude's fake eye. So is it like, was it? I assume it's like external, like it sticks off his
Yeah, it
face
was
a little
external.
bit.
It looked like a kind of like a scouter from Dragon Ball Z. Like it was.
Okay, I got you.
It was
See.
drilled into his temple and it wrapped around the front of his head.
I just thought it was a big red circle with a big metal plate, like Kano from.
Oh yeah.
Yes, there we go. That's kind of what I was going on with.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I'd be freaked out by it, but I would immediately start thinking like Terminator and like bad things could happen from this guy because he's got this giant computer thing on his face. Like I wouldn't like regular prosthetics don't bother me. I'm fascinated by like the legs especially. I think the legs are like the coolest things there because like titanium, like they look really cool. Like that guy could probably kick a hole in my chest with that thing.
Yeah.
But it's really, probably not. It's probably a pure struggle for the guy. But at the same time, I don't think I would grab his face though if I were the McDonald's guy because that just seems like a really poor choice.
I'd be afraid a laser beam would come out.
Exactly, like something.
Ah.
You got to think like, what are the implications? Like that eye is probably connected to like some kind. It's got a hard drive in it.
Yeah.
So if you have a cybernetic eye, who could be looking through that? Like, could somebody hack your eye and see what you're seeing?
Could they catch you at a bad time if you're like, beating one off and they're like, oh, let's save that to the hard drive for blackmail later on. I mean,
Oh, could you play video into your own eye? Could you
That
see?
would be really cool.
Then porn would be like great.
Oh,
You could watch porn on the bus. No one would know.
your eyes be glazed over and just
Yeah.
what are you?
when you have one eye closed and you're just like, oh, yeah, that's...
Trying to open the other eye.
Yeah.
I like what would be cool like for a cybernetic implant, like robotic arms with like jacks that could lift really heavy things. But I guess you'd have to have like a complete bone structure overhaul so you don't break your body.
Your shoulders.
I can see that
Yeah.
this is leading to pure chaos, though, because then you're gonna have some guys gonna be tearing the doors off people's cars just because he's a dick. I mean, I can see it going bad because if you gave me that kind of power, I would not use it for good things.
I think robotic inner organs would be something you would want to do as well, or like upgrades. Like you would want a stronger heart, or maybe more lung capacity. So you just replace those with things that,
There is a guy with a cybernetic heart already. He doesn't have a pulse because it's a pump-driven heart, not a pulse. So it's just like pretty much a spinning pump that constantly pumps blood through his body. So he would seem dead, like he doesn't have a pulse anywhere, but he's still alive because of a cybernetic heart.
But how does it not have a pulse though? Because if it's
It doesn't pulse; it just pumps.
like a steady flow, basically.
Like a steady flow. Like think of I don't know, like a water hose.
There's a water hose in his chest.
And
It's fun times.
I guess it could be a good thing though. I mean, the whole cybernetic organs. I mean, because even with donor organs, they fail after a while. I mean,
Yeah.
they're not you're going to last so long. Like especially with children and stuff like that. You try to find one that they can grow into, but they can only grow so much, and then they're still going to die young. So
Well, I think with heart transplants, if they're artificial hearts or human donated hearts, they're only good for about 2 years. You only get about 2 years left on these things before they have to start upgrading them and giving you more surgeries.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for like $1 million transplant, you get
Yeah.
2 years. It's really funny to me that like humans have been on this earth for millions of years, and it's really funny that we're just now getting to that point where we can replicate the systems that we have had for all these millions of years.
So what do you think with cybernetics? What do you think that does to our evolution? Do you think that kind of stops our evolution, or do you think now we take evolution into our own hands and become more than human?
It's a weird kind of gray area.
Yeah.
It's kind of like we have evolved to the point where we can think and have a spoken language, and we kind of think, we might be hitting a plateau where we need to say, hey, let's speed this up a little bit. So we start doing things like making cybernetic brains and like true artificial intelligence that can think for itself.
I think it becomes extremely dangerous, really. I think it's too much. I think it's great that you can save lives, but sometimes maybe things like that get too much. Like, it gets too far where it's become a money and power driven business, like everything. It's about money and power. So the people with the money and the power are going to have this, if it depends on how far it evolves, but these people could be living longer than they're supposed to live. And it kind of ruins it kind of ruins what life is. Like, it's kind of chaos, and you kind of die eventually. I mean, even surgeries, when surgery started happening, became, like, it's still kind of playing with God. Like, the way the world's supposed to work is like, look at, like, the dog down the street. It gets hit by a bus, it dies. That's kind of how it is. You have back in the day, you'd have a heart attack and you die. That's the way it is. Now medicine's getting so far where you can be saved. Like, you get brought back from that brink, and if you're going to start with cybernetics, where things are going to keep in you alive even longer, like, how is that? I don't know. It just seems like it's too much. It's almost too far.
So the question there is, when do you stop becoming human?
Exactly.
When you can prolong your life past the natural limits.
Like, you're not even human. Well, I mean, are you still? I guess you're still human mentally, but, like, your heart's just a pump that pumps blood.
Yeah.
Well, do you think, not to cut you off, but you were talking about, do you think living longer? Do you think dying is what makes you human? Like, you care about other people's lives because you yourself can die. So if you can no longer die, if you can live longer...
Well, does it become a question of greed, like, because you want to live longer for yourself, or you want to live longer for the people in your lives? Because most people, it comes in the day is it's for yourself. It's overall, it's like, life is selfishness. You want to survive. Like, basic human instinct, I'm going to live.
Yeah, like, that's the way you are hardwired, is to keep myself alive. Like, when that time comes and you have to make a decision, your body is going to involuntarily tell you, keep me alive.
Yeah, you said you'll take a bullet for someone, but when it comes down to it, your body's like, we need to get the hell out of the way.
Yeah.
But, when you have when you have technology keeping you alive because you shouldn't be alive anymore, like, it's, I don't know, it's like the butterfly effect. Are you I don't know.
Are you taking away the space that another person would need? Or is there something?
Possibly. I mean, it becomes so many issues. Population control. I mean, more people are alive, not other people are dying because they're keeping themselves alive. How does that affect the future of a population?
Yeah, and if we have totally, like, if you took, like, diodes and put them on your head and downloaded your entire consciousness, your personality, thoughts, your memories, everything about you into a hard drive, put it into a box, and threw it into a cybernetic body, would you still be a human?
I don't know. I don't think you would.
But you would still be you. You would still have everything. You could still learn.
Would I still have a dick?
Yes, you would. You had a cybernetic dick.
Oh.
So you could make it as huge as you wanted to.
Oh, God, I'd be fucking so many robots.
It could retract into your body.
No, I don't want to do that.
Oh, man.
I can fuck myself?
Oh, yeah. That's
what you're saying?
Yeah, run the...
Just pull it out like like that little thing, like the partitions at the bank, Zzzt.
Oh, yeah, that'd be fun.
You press the button, it rolls back up.
Yeah. So, with that, do you think, with cybernetic parts, eventually, do you think the rich will be able to choose parts they like? Upgrades, in a sense? Like apps, maybe? Even for your brain chips?
There's a really cool short movie. It's a short film that I'd seen where it's set in a world like that, where this guy has a cybernetic... he has cybernetic eyes, and he has apps, like, on his wall, and he's on a date with this girl, and he pulls up, like, all her information while they're talking at the table, so he can steer the conversation to things she likes. And it's really crazy, and it really kind of just blew my mind.
Is the name of this movie Date Rape Eyes?
Date Rape Eyes, that was it.
That sounds pretty accurate,
Boom.
yeah. Well, I have a question. So with this, do you get the choice to die when you want then? Like, if you're being kept alive by electronics, can you make the choice of, like, I think I'm good right here. Like, this is my point of where I'm ready to go.
That's another part where, like, the government could have control over, like, what's the statute of limitations for your life? Could it be like, oh, at 110 years we shut this guy's cyber brain down?
Well, because suicide is technically illegal.
Technically, yeah.
It's technically illegal. So, yeah, if you just say, well, I want to die now, let me hit my button. And they're like, no, you can't do that.
Well, even so, like, I don't know much about this, but, like, so how does the heart run? Does it run off your basic human electric functions, or do you have to, like, charge it? Is there, like, a power cord for this thing to keep it going?
Cybernetic card?
I mean, so, like, what happens if, like, one day some shit happens and you don't get a chance to plug yourself in? What if you just don't want to plug yourself anymore? I mean,
well, basically, all humans are, we're electrolyte magnet, or electrolyte batteries is what we are.
Oh, yeah, we're electrical forces, but how is it? Still expends energy, so eventually this thing's going to have to get charged somehow, or does your body just break down enough where it can't keep ringing and that's how you die?
I always thought of it like the arc reactor in Iron Man's suit. You just have like a power supply in your cybernetic body that runs all your systems. And then when you need to change it or charge it, you do that.
Or you can get it from other fuel. You can get it from food. I got to eat kale because that's what gives me fuel for my cybernetic heart.
Okay, but what if you only have selective cybernetic parts? Like you have a cybernetic heart, cybernetic eyes, and 2 cybernetic arms, but you still have a stomach. Your cybernetic parts would they be charged by batteries in their respective parts?
I don't know. It's like RoboCop. Let's ask RoboCop. He had to eat baby food.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, he did eat baby food.
Yeah,
Mashed is pretty awful.
Mashed peas.
I want to go off on that thing. Have you guys seen the trailer for the new RoboCop movie?
Outstanding. I'm really excited.
That was good.
I haven't seen it.
Pretty damn good. I don't like that he doesn't have a... He has a human hand. One of his hands are human.
Yeah, the suit color threw me off a little bit too. It's not quite. I guess
starts out kind of silver, and now it's.
Is it go for? I thought it went from. Is it starting off with black and then going like silver, or is it going
silver to black? Silver to black.
I have some questions. I don't know how I feel about that. But
who is RoboCop? Who's playing it?
British guy. I don't know his name.
British guy. Classic British guy.
Yeah, I'm not sure what his name is, but he's not Peter Weller.
No, it's
Benedict Cumberbatch.
It's not him either.
Oh, dang. Yeah. Hugh Laurie. He'd be a good RoboCop.
Yes, that's him. He's Hugh Laurie. Hugh Laurie's RoboCop, and RoboCop has a Vicodin problem.
And he's a total dick.
And he's a total dick. And
also Kane. Yeah. Kane's gun though, right?
Robot Kane?
Yeah.
Robot Kane with gun.
Robot Kane.
That's the
spin-off. Michael Kane. Robot Kane.
I'm Michael Caine, and I'm a robot.
You kind of went like country there for a
I
second.
did. Well, I can do my Michael Caine if I say I'm Michael Caine, because that's all I can do.
Well, it sounds Australian at the same time.
I
don't think you do dialects very well.
No, I don't. I'm terrible.
Robot Steve Irwin coming back from the dead.
That would be awesome.
I
mean, if he had a cybernetic heart. If he had a cybernetic heart, he would have died, correct? I mean,
yeah. Well,
he would have died. He got stabbed in the heart, but.
Well, I think that poison
is it metal? I mean, will poison kill you if you're cyber enhanced?
If you have organic parts, then the poison will.
It depends on what it is.
Why don't they just take away your blood?
Let's run you on oil or something,
or something else that you need.
But all your organs need blood, except for one though.
All blood does is deliver oxygen to the rest of your body. If they can figure out another fluid that can do that if you sprung a leak, it's not going to kill you.
They've developed fluid that is oxygen rich enough that you can breathe it into your lungs, and technically breathe underwater.
That's Abyss.
So you drown yourself.
Abyss.
Yeah.
What is? I've never seen Abyss.
You've never seen that? No, that is from Abyss.
No, they've actually developed this though. Like it's a real thing.
But how would you use that? Is my question. Like, I mean, you can breathe in water, but you have to breathe that one particular fluid. So then you have like a little fluid device.
You put a fishbowl on your head
with a hose that feeds the fluid in.
Feeds the fluid.
So you drown yourself while you're underwater, but you're not drowning.
Like you freak the fuck out because your body's not used to it.
In the movie Abyss, the guy takes a rat, holds the rat into this liquid, and the rat's like, oh, and it's like, oh, fine, okay, good. And that's what it is. In Abyss, they were talking about, you spend 9 months in your mother swimming in liquid, breathing that in. Why can't you breathe this in? Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. But don't you have gills when you're inside?
No, that's a myth.
Oh, damn it. I don't know shit. See, I don't know anything about
You know, it's not a myth, though. When you hiccup, it's like a long-lost evolutionary function of, like, you know when fish are on land, they, like, gasp from their gills? Like, that's what a hiccup is in humans.
Oh, I thought it was just air getting stuck under your diaphragm. Is that why?
It's like a muscle spasm of the diaphragm, but they think that's where it originated from.
Ah,
That's
man.
some really insightful shit right there.
Yeah.
That's cool.
In fact, we're getting pretty deep right now.
We're probably wrong about everything we just said.
Yeah, I don't know shit
That's our
about
spoiler
science.
about that, is that we're probably wrong about everything we said.
I mean, I thought Walter Jones was, what's his face? The Black Ranger.
That's right. Yeah.
So, you know, you can't take
You want to take a minute and talk about our Redbubble site so they can find some stuff?
Oh, yeah. Actually, I gave you guys the wrong address last time in the last show. I had changed the address since then, so I apologize. But we do have a Redbubble site where we sell stickers and T-shirts, and we got all kinds of cool shit on there. We got some phone cases, and this all goes to support us because we do this for free, and we also have other jobs. So we do this shit in our spare time, and we need money to make this a better experience for you guys. So everything we make from this is gonna go to making this show better, and also our second houses in Maui.
Yes.
So.
And Tracy told me I had to start paying him.
Ah, shit. You're fired.
Damn it.
What he doesn't know is I'm gonna pay him with passionate kisses. So what's the address? Where can they find it?
Oh, it's I'm not sure. I can't remember now.
Oh man.
But anyways, I'll post the address on the site, so it'll be a link so you guys can click on it. But we do have a Redbubble site, and you can browse our whole catalog of stuff.
Can you put that on their Facebook page?
Yes, I can put it on any page.
Our Facebook page. Don't brag.
I can do anything. Cyber enhanced, bitch.
You please go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Touching Unicorns. Like us there, and go to Twitter @Touching Unicorn, and follow us on Twitter as well.
We also have a WordPress, wordpress.touchingunicorns.com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's probably where you're at right now listening to this, if not iTunes.
Yep.
All right, so we were talking about cybernetics and it being more, I think it's going to be more cosmetic. I think people are going to get into more changing their bodies for, like, you know, we get tattoos, we get piercings.
Plastic surgery, I mean, that's already like an augment.
Absolutely. What's going to stop us from being like, I need a jetpack. Can you fit me one of those?
I need a whole new face.
What about simple things like, look at chameleons, they can change their color, so can we maybe cybernetic skin tone adjuster? I mean, something that like forces your body to change pigment
like
colors.
Nanobots.
That'd be really cool. You know what I would want to get? I would want to get like spider silk woven skin, so that I would be impenetrable by bullets and knives.
Oh, I thought you were going to say dicks.
And dicks.
I just think that'd be terrible because I don't know if you ever walked out the house and caught a spider web in the fucking face, and you can't get the shit off you. So when someone shakes your hand, like they're stuck to you basically. Like that's,
well, it's like like fibers woven.
Oh, you just
like,
you don't want actual fibers like spider silk for skin.
Right. I want like spider silk fibers, like artificial spider silk twisted and woven into
like
my skin.
like almost chainmail almost. Like,
yeah, it'd be awesome. I mean, if you think about it.
So do you think there'll be you say that, so that would have, it could make you bulletproof in a sense?
In a sense, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
so do you think there would be like regulations against what you're allowed to upgrade?
oh, most definitely. Like, you can't go out and buy military grade body armor unless you have, you know, a permit for it. So I definitely think there would be you'd have to make a whole new set of laws for cybernetics, and a whole new set of regulations, and by natural selection of things, there's bound to be some illegal cybernetics out there.
Black market cybernetics for criminal purposes.
Just like there's illegal computer programs and all that, there's hacking. There's bound to be stuff like that with cybernetics too. I mean, what's to stop people from hacking cybernetic eyes or taking control of someone's cyber brain by a wireless network?
Oh, man.
What are the implications of that for like terrorism and stuff, though? I mean,
oh yeah,
like if you're bulletproof, imagine fighting a bulletproof army of terrorists. I mean, what do you do with that? I mean, even you go to the private sector, military sector, stuff like that. The government's always doing things we don't know about anyway.
Yeah.
So you know, are we heading toward like Captain America, the super soldiers of the world?
Soldiers.
I mean, is that where we're heading? The the soon-to-be Master Chiefs of the world, or
It's bound to happen at some point.
The government will definitely take technology and use it to better their fighting force.
Check this out. Okay.
but who won't though? Can you imagine that?
Everybody.
An unstoppable world war because no one can die. Like you just can't kill the fuckers. You can hit them with a 50 caliber bullet. And they're like, ow. Well, let's do
Then
this.
it would become a war of casualties where they attack innocents.
So then it becomes a cyber war too at the same time because you're trying to destroy.
It's like we can't kill your soldiers, but we can kill your people.
That might
We
be
can kill your.
terrifying
We can kill your.
scenario.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's
You
pure
should write that into
dystopia.
a book, maybe.
It sounds awesome, but then when you get there, it's terrible. Think about this: if you had, like I was talking about earlier, the cybernetic brains, you download everything that is you to a hard drive, slap it into a fully cybernetic body. Think about this: if you get shot or blown up or whatever, if your cyber brain's still intact, you unplug it, plug it into another body, you're good to go. You're still alive.
Or someone could just throw your brain into the ocean.
What would that be like? That'd be like
It'd be really shitty.
Would
I
you
think.
still exist
it's like
in your mind? Like a
yeah,
dream?
it's like Ghost in the Shell, closed shell syndrome, where they just introvert into their cyber brain.
I wish I could remember my science class. There's one guy who was the guy who once postulated that all human beings were basically just brains floating in gel. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, the
Who was that?
the vat theory.
Yes.
Mm.
So then, do we become that basically, essentially, if you get to the point like
Well,
you're
that's-
literally
I-
like you have no, you don't really die ever. I guess. I mean, that changes the definition of life.
Well, everything that we do, we eat, we breathe, everything we do is to keep our brains alive. That's what we are. We're brains. That's the animal.
Yeah,
Everything else is to keep that thing alive.
like you are the brain. You just have a body.
Yeah. Everything that we have is to keep it alive. Yeah, I don't know, that's scary. We got into some serious shit.
Yeah, it's terrifying when you really get down and think about it. Have you guys ever seen Ghost in the Shell, the anime?
Yes.
A little bit.
Oh, it's a great anime, and it really kind of shows the implications of what will happen in that kind of society. The government has control over everything, and there are terrorists, like the Laughing Man. He, no one knows who he is because he hacks cybernetic eyes and puts a logo over his face, so no one can tell who he is.
What about cybernetic weapons? I mean, now you have actually guns that have fingerprint DNA. Not DNA, but fingerprint readers. So you can't fire the gun unless your hand's on it.
Yeah, that's cool.
But what if you start getting built into the fact where you have a cybernetic weapon attachment to you, like a weapon that's only to be used by, say, your DNA? I mean, it could be used for good to an extent too.
That's kind of crazy. Like you get into like some Mega Man X shit there.
Yeah, I mean,
with the Reploids and.
That made me think, not just like military implications. What about like home protection, where your house will only recognize you? So where there could be weapons in your house, and it can only read your DNA. So anybody else that's in your house that does not register in its list of DNA,
They get turned into red mist.
yeah. They get turned out.
Or even, I mean, that could be used for very good for children. I mean, you're not gonna have your kid blow his brains out or accidentally shoot somebody if you can't turn your damn gun on.
Yeah.
Yeah. About the fingerprint thing, the new iPhone has a fingerprint reader.
Exactly.
And that's kind of scary too, because now the government has a fingerprint of every single person who has an iPhone.
I hear that a lot of people use their penises
Oh yeah.
or other body parts, and it works.
Oh, does
It'll
it?
read your nipple skin as a fingerprint.
It's like, oh, that guy's nipples look familiar. Oh, he robbed that gas station last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's say my shitty old laptop, which is like 6 years old, that was under my bed. I got the fingerprint unlocking device for it, which I thought was amazing because I didn't know that shit existed. And I was like, that's a free option. I'm gonna do that. So now I swipe my finger and it works. And I'm like, that's crazy. Like I can unlock instead of being lazy enough to type in a password. I just swipe my finger and it turns my password in for me. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's what this laptop that we're recording on has a fingerprint reader on it as well.
That's some pretty fancy stuff.
I don't use it because I'm afraid of the government. That's not true. I've never done it.
I mean that you get into retinal scanning and stuff like that. It's the same thing. But then what actually go into the DNA level of everything for weapons, for computers, and everything else? But then it brings up the point of who monitors that. I mean, there's someone can get that data somewhere.
Do you think paranoia about our juices? We're afraid that government's going to take our DNA, our essence, and then use it against us. Do you think that's just paranoia, or do you think there's anything behind that?
I think we should be wary. I don't think that the government is going to release an army of clones tomorrow, but it's definitely within our grasp.
You know what I've always said: if you ever meet your clone, you have to kill it.
Oh yeah,
that's a rule.
I think when you go back and you look at it, everything about I just managed to kill myself, but not myself. The clone version of me. But
how would you do it before you go? How would you kill your clone?
Where am I when I encounter my clone? If he walks into my house, I'm clearly going to shoot him with one of the several guns laying in the house.
You're in the bathtub. You're in a soak. You had a long day at work, and you're listening to Tony Braxton, and you're having a nice bottle of red wine.
Got some Celine Dion instead.
Sure, I'm trying to give you
Lionel Richie.
Oh yeah.
And you're in the bathtub. You have your bubbles, and then your clone walks in, and he wants to join your bubble bath, but you know you have to kill him.
Well, clearly I invite him to join the bubble bath, and I'm like, all right, man, I'm gonna redraw the water, get it warm up for him, and I'm gonna beat the shit out of his head on the spigot
with bath beads. Grab the heavy jar of bath beads and.
No, I'm just gonna beat him on the spigot, and then
the spigot.
Or spigot. Is that what you call it? I don't know what you call it. The water pours from the spigot, right? That's.
Yeah.
Or is that a southern? It's a southern thing, I believe.
S-P-I-G-O-T.
Yeah, spigot. Yeah,
Oh.
I thought so.
What is it actually called?
Spigot.
Faucet.
Faucet. Yeah.
Spigot.
I was like, it's not a
It's both the
spigot.
same thing. I think it's a southern thing, but or that, or I'll grab the top of the toilet bowl cover and beat the shit out of him with that.
No, but think about this. What if they clone you after you've said all this and you've already processed this in your brain? Your clone knows that you're going to try
What if he kills me first?
I think technically...
Does he own my life if he kills me?
You would meet your clone as a child. If he was cloned and then met you, he would probably be a child. And that would be a lot easier to kill, I think.
Kill a child?
Hold him under water.
Hold him until the bubbles stop.
Yep.
But if he's cyber enhanced, maybe he can breathe underwater.
That's true.
Totally
Gills.
He'll be like, I killed him, haha. Then
he'll have the abyss liquid in his lungs.
Exactly.
He doesn't have to breathe, though, because he's cybernetic.
Exactly. Just pumps on and on.
Bastards.
Man.
They outthink us all the time. These cybernetics. These cybernetic children.
But back to your paranoia question. I think everything in our lives' background has showed us that most of the paranoia we have is based upon factual someone fucking with our lives in the past. Or the government doing something shady, and they're like, I think they're doing something over there. And they're like, no. And like 10 years later, you find out they were. And you're like just like Roswell. I mean, no one still knows what the hell's happening over there, but we know there's something going on over there. And just like we know there's some form of government doing something with our lives every day that we probably don't know they're doing.
You're talking about Area 51?
Yeah, Area 51.
They just declassified that. They just made a list of everything that they do there.
But do we believe that? We don't. I mean, I don't.
Who's to call out and be like, hey, that's not true?
Yeah.
Because
what they say is they make special planes and stealth things.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things that I think the paranoia we have about the government and what they could do to us, I think it's happened. Even not to that technological level of cybernetics and stuff like that, but even so, like other governments in other countries where look at Germany, look at the Nazis. I mean, I'm pretty sure the Jews are probably like, I don't think I trust these guys, and then bam, genocide, they're all dead.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying the United States government is going to kill every one of us, but I think if they wanted to, they could.
Oh yeah, it's a government that is powerful enough to give you everything you want is powerful enough to take everything away.
Yeah. Well, you already have to register as a human being. When you're born, they issue you a social security card. You're known as a number. You have to use that number for everything from taxes to everything.
Credit card applications,
cards, yeah.
Porn sites.
Porn sites take your social security number? That's why I do only free porn, guys.
There you go.
That's going to be my
you got the whole
my turn on. It's going to be porn.
Oh yeah, you're part of the beast, as Dale Gribble would call it.
Yeah, the beast. I remember watching a religious show one night, and they were talking about the true mark of the beast and it being like the internet.
The internet, yeah. Oh man, I read something really funny about. Oh yeah, it was some crazy people in Kansas are trying to sue the state of Kansas for removal of the teaching of science in schools.
Like all science?
All science, yeah.
Like life science?
Yeah, because they say evolution is a religion, and it violates the laws of church and state.
That's not true.
Yeah. It's never going to happen, but the point is these kinds of people still exist, and it's not 1400.
I'm almost confused as how you define the word science, because I'm pretty sure everything I do is somewhat science-driven. Like, taking a dump, there's some science involved in that.
There's some heavy science involved
There's
in that.
heavy-duty science involved in that, and some grunting, too, and, you know. And,
science of grunts.
Yeah, but so what do you teach at that school, then? Because...
Magic.
The Bible.
The Bible.
But
you just throw Bibles at kids all day.
Yeah, like, here, Jesus.
No, they teach them that it's magic. Everything.
I mean, isn't a math also a science? I thought
Yeah.
so.
Boxing is a sweet science.
So you don't teach them how to count, I guess. If that happens, you're gonna have a whole bunch of illiterate, stupid kids running around that just know about Jesus. Is that how the world?
I think that's what they want. I think not to get too political, I guess. I think that's what a lot of. It's easier to get people to do what you want as long as you don't educate them.
So brainwashing, in other words.
Yeah, absolutely is what it is. This is what you need to believe, and don't go anywhere else to find information.
For science.
Yeah.
For science.
We're all pro science here, I think.
Oh yeah.
I like science.
Yeah, science is good.
Speaking of, we were talking about the future and how it has a very real possibility of being dystopic. This is a little more closer by. Verizon is trying to kill the net neutrality. Have you guys heard of that?
No, what is that?
What is
It's they're going to basically charge companies to pay them, like, companies have to pay them for their sites to run better on Verizon's internet.
Wow.
So if you don't pay Verizon, they throttle your site speed back.
I think Verizon is slowly becoming like
Skynet?
It's
Skynet.
yeah, Skynet, exactly.
Life Invader.
Yeah, it's good, and there's nothing you can do about it besides not have a cell phone. But let's be honest here. I mean, there's a lot of things back in the day, like, I don't need no damn cell phone. But now, like, it's all of us. We're like, we always grab it. Like, we leave somewhere, like, all right, do I have my cell phone? And no one even calls me. I'm like, I need this shit so I can look up shit on the internet that doesn't matter.
You know, a comedian, Jonah Ray, had a bit how, like, 15 years ago, pushing someone into a pool was a fun trick. You do that today, you ruin someone's life for a week. Because my phone, it's ruined.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, anyway, the net neutrality basically says everything on the internet is equal. They all have equal speeds. And that's a good thing because the internet is becoming more and more of a right. And I can't remember what country it is, but it provides internet free of charge to every citizen.
I think it's like a Norway or Sweden or one of those.
Yeah, one of those. But it's a human right to have the internet. And I think that's a very progressive thing because why wouldn't you want to have access to everything that has been collected, like all the knowledge that has ever come to light about anything you can look up at your fingertips? Why would that not be a human right?
Yeah.
And I think if Verizon does end up with this net neutrality thing, killing it, Google's going to step up and really push Google Fiber. And somebody is going to bring down Verizon if they actually kill net neutrality.
So Google Fiber is going to be like the cable cell phone internet provider, right? That's what Google is, right?
Yeah, like Google Fiber is like 1 gigabit internet speed, which is leaps and bounds faster than anyone has right now.
I think they have it in California and Texas. I think they just moved into Austin.
Yeah. And you better believe as soon as that shit comes here, I'm getting it.
Yeah, me too.
You'll be able to listen to us in high speed.
Yes.
Our voices will sound more rich and golden.
Could you imagine what they would do in the porn industry? Like, you might actually get some of that money shot, like, on you.
Oh, I can only hope.
Like, it's a little salty, huh? Oh.
That just reminds me of the story. It has nothing to do with anything we were talking about. But did you guys ever hear that story about the guy who he was in the army? He went to Afghanistan. He comes back, and his girlfriend's pregnant, and she has a baby, and the baby's of mixed race. And she convinces the guy that she got pregnant while watching a 3D porn.
Oh, man.
Keep them dumb. That's what I say.
Oh, yeah. That's great. But, what I was going to say. Imagine that kind of throttling of the internet selectively for companies that don't pay. Combine that with the dystopia of super soldiers and illegal cybernetic black markets. What would you end up with? You would end up with a fucked up world.
You end up with
A
government
wasteland,
being
I believe,
controlled
yeah.
by information. It's all about information, is what it is, and how fast we can get it. And if Verizon controls the speed of information that you get for its customers, it'll be a lot more like companies ruling
Yeah,
the world.
that's exactly it. It'll be a corporate world. Whoever has the highest bid rules the world.
Yep.
That's a scary
They'll have their own armies
Yeah.
with a V, and it's like, can you hear me now? Ba-da-da-da.
They'd be like cybernetic super soldiers that can jump across buildings. It'd be like the Matrix, sort of.
And that would be cool for every company to have their own.
Had their own private militia.
Yeah, I just want to see how they're dressed. Like, is McDonald's are they gonna wear like the big
They all
big
look-
golden arches on them?
They all look
I
like
would all
Ronald
dress like-
McDonald.
Yeah, wrong enough. Hamburglar actually is what I expect.
Grimace.
Grimace, yes.
Like armed grimaces running around, walking around the drive-through with M16s.
That's hell. That is what hell is.
And that's where Cybernetics is going to take us.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So all we got to say about that. Cybernetics. I
yeah.
think I'm done with that. So again, I just want to reiterate that you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/touchingunicorns. And you can find us on our Twitter at Touching Unicorn. It would be Touching Unicorns, but I didn't have enough space.
Damn.
Twitter does that to you.
Oh yeah. You can also find us on WordPress.touchingunicorns.com. YouTube. We got a YouTube channel too.
We do.
And we're gonna have some different shows on there for you guys.
Yeah, we're working on that right now. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff for that. I think we got a commentary show we're working on.
Yeah. Oh, we got plenty to entertain you guys between the weeks of these shows.
Yeah.
We release them every week, but if you still can't get enough of us, look us up.
Can't get enough of Tracy, which who can not get enough of Tracy?
His face. I mean,
Beautiful.
Yeah, look at his face over this audio track.
You can hear the sweet.
He'll send you pictures of him, autographed,
for free.
in jism.
Nude.
So, does anybody have any turn-ons this week, Chris?
Oh yeah, I've been listening to a lot of Smooth McGroove. He's awesome if you guys haven't checked him out. He's on YouTube. He does a cappella versions of a lot of my favorite old video game songs, and he takes requests. So check him out, guys. He's very, very talented.
Endings have been turning me on lately. The ending of Dexter happened a week ago. The ending of Breaking Bad happened just last night, and that was it's one of those things when you realize you spent God knows how much of your time watching this show. Like, Dexter was 8 seasons. You average 12 episodes per season plus an hour. It's a lot of my time. It's devoted. Yeah. And you find yourself so connected to these characters, and then it's gone. You're kind of like, holy shit, what am I going to watch now?
Without spoilers, how did you like both of those finales?
Dexter let me down a lot.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I can kind of agree.
Kind of a cop-out. Kind of feel like I felt like more should have happened. I feel like I needed an ending, not a, oh, okay. That's how I felt. I was like, damn it. Breaking Bad ended in a way I think it needed to end. I don't think you could, without a spoiler, any ending that involves a light machine gun is outstanding. That's all I got.
All right, so my turn on this week is going to be Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that just came on. And now, this is a big thing, and normally we try to do smaller things that we want to introduce you to. And this is probably all our listeners are watching this show, but man, that show is good. And it's like, it's anything too spectacular yet, but you can feel how it's going to get great and how it's just going to integrate with the movies. It's going to be one of these first TV shows that are going to be really connected to the movies they're making as well. And it's going to play into these things. And yeah, if you're not watching Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it comes on Tuesdays at 8 o'clock?
Something like that.
9 o'clock? It comes on Tuesdays. I DVR everything. That's technology.
Yeah.
DVR's in our brain, that's what I want.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Sounds good.
Is that it?
That's it, man.
All right. Again, this is Travis, and I'm with Chris and Tracy, and we're going to say, go fuck yourselves.
See ya.